So today we are going to interview Kavita Chaudhary, and she is a senior journalist who have worked in Business Standard and Indian Express. So, ma'am, what do you think about the impact of lockdown on children?
Hi, Swati. See, the lockdown has been a very prolonged one. Kids from privileged backgrounds, their concerns regarding the lockdown is different. Like they'll be stressed about uncertain future, about schooling, about, let's say, their board exams. Children in poorer sections, if they happen to be fortunate enough to be going to, let's say, the government school or the corporation school or even the neighborhood, there the impact as what is being seen and as what child rights activists, educationists are all talking about is going to be more severe.
Okay. So, ma'am, I wanted to ask you, in India, migrant workers is the biggest issue right now during this COVID-19 pandemic. But what about the children of migrant workers? Nobody is talking about them.
Okay. Now, it's a very relevant point you raised. First of all, we've seen these heart-rending pictures of these children of migrant workers already. Okay. Now, you have child rights organizations under the banner of the Pro-Child Network who have written to the Prime Minister saying that the issue of migrant laborers needs to be highlighted. Okay, and something needs to be done about it on an urgent war footing. At the same time, you need to highlight the case of migrant child laborers. It's a difference. If child laborers, when we say, we automatically assume that they're all adults. There are working children who are migrants, who come from villages. The condition of these migrant child laborers is more desperate and pathetic.
Secondly, I would like to highlight the child abuse cases, many of which are hidden behind closed doors because of lockdown, especially in middle class families. And we think that children are safe at their homes and they are guided by their parents. So what would you like to say on this?
Right. See, child abuse could take the form of various manifestations. Studies have proved that the incidence of child sexual abuse is very high even among middle class society. So Childline 1098 number, it's the National Helpline for Children. They have been looking at the lockdown and the number of calls they have been getting. Okay, of abuse, of child abuse, etc. And they found a 50% rise in the number of calls ever since the lockdown occurred. There are other sorts of distress calls which have been coming. Child marriage is happening. It's not that it gets reported. Children are getting trafficked, getting abandoned.
And ma'am, also because the families are having pressure and they are having anxiety because of their future, employment and financial problems. So don't you think that these all are having an impact on child also, and the child also gets maltreated in their homes?
Absolutely. I said if one of the major impact of this lockdown will be the vulnerable, whoever is most weak and most vulnerable, they will be victimized further. Now, children always will bear the brunt of this. And majority of the calls that Childline is facing are calls for food. There are children without food, without medicine.
And ma'am, children, like street children are invisible right now. Are they more likely to be abused as no one knows them and they don't have family with whom they can stay?
So they are homeless children. They are out on the streets. Now, a very peculiar phenomena has happened in all our urban metropolises. These children all of a sudden have vanished. They've gone behind the visible range. As because of police presence, they are all deprived of livelihoods now. Street children who used to beg, who used to, shine shoes or clean cars, all of them are now dissipated, and they are most of them are addicted. And these child help welfare agencies are finding it. I've been speaking to them. They are finding it extremely difficult to reach out to them during this lockdown.
Yes, ma'am. And lastly, ma'am, I'll like to ask that what would you like to comment on government? Like what needs to be done or what should they do so that these problems are minimalized?
See, first of all, the way the lockdown happened, it was very unplanned and very ill-timed. So children that could have been better planned in the first case. Now, if they were to seriously look at children and children's vulnerability, they have to, in number one, ensure that there is no cutting down of budgeting for the social sector and child protection for education. You cannot cut down budgeting for midday meals. Okay, you have to keep on giving your scholarships so that girl children don't fall out of school, so that children are not thrown into work, are not married off.
Don't you think that because of online studies that have been initiated right now because of this lockdown, that online abuse can also be started and it can go to a large extent?
Absolutely. As much as it is helping children continue with studies, etc., at the same time, with children being online, they are open to abuse. You have the internet full of child abusers, etc., and pedophiles who would take advantage of this. At the same time, we've also seen the episode of the boy. But children need to be prioritized. Okay?
So thank you so much, ma'am, for this interview and giving your time.
Thank you.